I call Brett Hudson.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. It's a pleasure to rise in support of the Land Transfer Bill, and I see the member for New Lynn over there. I just want to reassure him he's been in this House, I believe, sir, for about 17 years, since 1999, and the good folk of New Lynn might be somewhat surprised today to see that despite those many years of service here, it appears that he couldn't comprehend that this particular bill doesn't actually amend the Overseas Investment Act and therefore has absolutely no bearing on the ease or difficulty of foreign buyers actually buying some land. I would suggest, for the benefit of that member and in fact for the benefit of his constituents, Mr Speaker, he might find that comprehension is aided if he were to remove his tinfoil hat when reading bills. But sir, it's quite topical for me, this particular bill. Now this is a first reading. It's going to take some time for this bill to make its way through this House. But as it so happens, my partner and I, this Friday, will settle on two houses. We will settle a sales transaction on our current house, and we'll settle a purchase of a new house in Kandala. And if I just might, Mr Speaker, Kandala translates as the resting place of God. And let me assure you that the suburb of Kandala is indeed a slice of paradise in God's own. Of course, you could actually use that to describe any part of the Oharu electorate, the very best electorate across all of the country. So this Friday, Mr Speaker, we will settle on two transactions. But we're not alone. We're not alone because this chain, as it is for many New Zealanders buying property, this is a chain of at least 4 transactions, 4 that we know of. Each one of those is a potential area of some uncertainty or error. We don't and wouldn't suspect any fraud in law that today I think we would all agree would describe as archaic and very complex, very incredibly difficult for lay people to navigate, and therefore we would perhaps suggest a potential for some uncertainty in an area which is still likely to be the largest investment that most Kiwis will ever make. And in terms of property rights, something that underpins not only economic growth but just confidence in our economy and in the rule of law in New Zealand. So I'm very, very pleased to see, as I say, we don't anticipate any issues in the settlement chain for us this Friday, but I think by its very definition, you would say that for any property settlement that goes awry, particularly one if it were to be due to fraud. So I'm very pleased, in fact I applaud the changes we see in this bill to help provide some greater restitution for people who might suffer a manifest injustice, particularly due to the fraudulent activities of others. So Mr Speaker, I commend this bill to the House. I look forward to its successful passage through the House.